I know she can get a hard.
No.
Waiting for Bill, yeah? We're waiting for the chairman. Seems like a good idea. Hey there.
Good.
I keep looking and hoping there'll be another name on here, but there isn't yet.
It'll happen eventually.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Turn this off. We're ready to go.
Let's see. What are we doing here? Mortgage Insurance Committee, correct?
Yes, we are.
All right.
30. Stealing that. Good morning. No, it's okay.
Morning.
Let's call this Mortgage Insurance Committee meeting to order.
I'd like to
Yep.
request a motion and a second to call to order the November 12, 2015 meeting of the SONYMA Mortgage Insurance Committee. The motion and second recorded will be used for all action items before the committee unless specific items call for a different vote or unless any committee member wishes to record his or her vote differently. I have a motion and a second.
I'll move.
Second.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
It's okay.
We've got three.
We're moving.
Okay,
We're
okay.
clicking. We are moving.
All three.
Okay. The minutes of the meeting of the Mortgage Insurance Committee held on October 15, 2015 shall be deemed approved, absent corrections from the directors.
Okay, the meeting will move to the Mortgage Insurance Committee program action items. Item number 2, resolution recommending the approval of 100% mortgage insurance on a $9,322,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for Clinton Plaza, 550 South Clinton Street, Syracuse, Onondaga County.
This project comprises the mod rehab of 305 all-low-income units. There is a 20-year Section 8 HAP contract from the Syracuse Housing Authority. The development entity, the Mulholland Group, currently owns over 1,800 units of housing nationwide. The insured loan amount is only $30,000 per unit, which equals 24% of the project's total development cost of $125,000 per unit. So this is an efficient project. The project will break even with a 13% pro forma vacancy loss or a 12% increase in operating expenses. And there is a 15-year pilot with Syracuse, the city of Syracuse.
Any questions?
Then the resolution before the committee is recommending approval of mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for Clinton Plaza, 550 South Clinton Street, Syracuse, Onondaga County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 3, resolution recommending the approval of 100% mortgage insurance, $9,140,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for Copake Commons, 54 Railroad Avenue, Copake, Suffolk County.
This project comprises the development of 71 low-income units and 18 units of workforce housing. The workforce housing units are eligible to tenants earning up to 130% of AMI, but they are affordable between 70 and 75% of the AMI. The development entity is controlled by Conifer, and this will be the 20th loan that we have insured for entities controlled by Conifer, with total liability of $92 million. The project has a pilot agreement with the town of Babylon. The insured loan amount is $101,500 per unit, which equals 28% of the project's total development cost of $366,000 per unit. And the project would break even with a 10% pro forma vacancy loss or a 10% increase in operating expenses.
I'm going to comment now, and I'm going to comment again at the board. I was just congratulating Marion. This is an important breakthrough. So it's really a very important project.
Chris?
The resolution before the committee is recommending approval of mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for Copeg Commons, 4 Railroad Avenue, Copeg, Suffolk County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 4, resolution recommending the approval of 100% mortgage insurance on an $8,450,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for 7 Green Apartments, 120 Lawrenceville Street, Kingston, Ulster County.
This project comprises the mod rehab of 125 Mitchell-Lama units for seniors and the development of 24 new units. There will be a project-based Section F contract covering 118 units, and there will be project-based section-based vouchers for the 24 new units. There's a 30-year pilot agreement with the town of Ulster. The development entity is controlled by David Carlin, and this will be the second HFA loan that we have insured for entities controlled by Carlin, who has developed 1,300 units of affordable housing. The insured loan amount is $56,700 per unit, which equals 34% of the project's total development cost of $166,000 per unit. And the project would break even with an 8% increase in operating expenses or a 9% vacancy rate.
Questions?
The resolution before the committee is recommending approval of mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for 7 Greens Apartments, 120 Lawrenceville Street, Kingston, Ulster County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 5, resolution approving 100% mortgage insurance on a $6,230,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for Joseph L. Allen Apartments, 768 to 782 Albany Street, Schenectady, Schenectady County.
This project comprises the development of 51 all-low-income units, which 25 will be reserved for clients of the New York State Office of Mental Health. And OMH will pay 100% of the debt service for the full 30-year life of the loan. And in addition to debt service, OMH will also pay rent subsidies and property operating expense subsidies. The development entity, DePaul, is a Rochester-based developer and operator of supportive housing, a highly regarded and experienced developer. This will be the 8th loan that we have insured for entities controlled by DePaul, and our total exposure inclusive of this loan is $46 million. The insured loan amount is $122,000 per unit, which equals 35% of the project's total development cost of $338,000 per unit.
Comments? Questions?
No, I mean, this just shows you why this OMH money is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, we get debt service, we get rent subsidy.
Right.
It really is.
It's just such a good,
Yeah.
30 years.
For 30, right.
30 years.
The resolution before the
You and I are gonna be able to go out and visit the project in 30 years.
Hell, I'm gonna be able to go live there.
That was a softball, though.
It's no way to Sorry. Appreciate that. No problem.
The resolution before the committee is approving mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for Joseph L. Allen Apartments, 768 to 782 Albany Street, Schenectady, Schenectady County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 6, resolution approving 100% mortgage insurance on a $2.2 million HFA permanent first mortgage loan for Theodore Fremd, Senior Apartments, 150 North Street, by Westchester County.
This project comprises the development of 41 low-income units, and it will partially fulfill the federal court settlement requiring Westchester County to develop more fair and affordable housing. All of the units are set aside for tenants earning up to 60% of the AMI, while in addition, 8 of the units are set aside for tenants earning up to 50% of the AMI. The development entity is controlled by Louis Larissa. This will be the second HFA loan that we have insured for entities controlled by Mr. Larissa. The insured loan amount is $53,700 $600 per unit, which equals 12% of the project's total development cost of $432,000 per unit. The project would break even with a 9% vacancy and collection loss, or a 7% increase in pro forma operating expenses.
By the way, you talk about this helping Westchester meet their obligations. How many units does Westchester? How
Are
many
they
u-
obliged to develop?
Yes, over a period of what time?
I think it's 700 and some odd.
700 some odd units.
They actually, it's funny you asked, they actually announced the other day, I think, that they were either ahead of schedule or planning on going over whatever their obligation is, which begs the question, how are they counting? Because I don't, you know.
But that's a question.
That is a question, yeah.
It's debatable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had talked about this.
Yeah.
And by the way, how many of the units are we involved in one form or another?
Probably most of them.
I was going
would
to say,
guess.
probably almost all of them.
Probably, yeah.
I would guess.
The real question is whether they attract people of color and come up into the HUD definition. And the same goes for their 635 that they say they now have, are some in the pipeline and questionable. They haven't all gotten their permits yet.
Right. And this is a senior project.
Different.
The resolution before the committee is approving mortgage insurance and a commitment therefore for the provision thereof for Theodore Fremd Senior Apartments, 150 North Street, Rye, Westchester County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 7, resolution recommending approval of 100% mortgage insurance on a $27 million CPC permanent first mortgage loan for Inner Harbor, 720 Van Rensselaer Street, Syracuse, Onondaga County.
This project comprises development of 108 units of workforce housing and 37,000 square feet of commercial space. And it is the first project located within the Syracuse Inner Harbor Master Plan, which calls for the development of office, hotels, a new building for the SUNY College of Environmental Science at Syracuse University on Lake Onondaga. And it's sort of an extension of the downtown historic readaptation area. There's Armory Square, and then slightly to the north is Franklin Square, and then this is just a little farther north of that. So it's a really long walk from downtown, but it's kind of contiguous with what is being redeveloped in Syracuse. The development entity is the core companies. This will be the third loan that we have insured for entities controlled by core, and our total liability inclusive of this loan is $55 million. The project will break even with a 23% vacancy and collection loss, or a 77% increase in pro forma operating expenses, or with 59% of the commercial space vacant. The insured loan amount is $250,000 per unit, which equals 74% of the project's total development cost of $336,000 per unit. And there is $5.3 million in developer equity, which comprises 15% of the total development cost.
So it's just sort of an odd one for us. I mean, it's not odd for us, but it's it's not affordable housing,
Right, it's not.
market rate housing, and there's a bunch of developer equity, which is good.
Yeah,
Real equity, I assume.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's hard to get the numbers to work in Syracuse. Projects require equity. So we've sort of been flexible in Syracuse. And Syracuse is distinguished by this sort of redevelopment of downtown.
Correct.
It's a good thing to do.
Okay.
The resolution before the committee is recommending approval of mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for Inner Harbor, 720 Van Rensselaer Street, Syracuse, Onondaga County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Resolution approving an increase in 100% mortgage insurance from $4.5 million to $5.7 million on a CPC permanent first mortgage loan for the Herald Building, 220 Herald Place, Syracuse, on Dickett County.
This is a request to increase the loan to cover increased development costs. The project has more than sufficient income to cover the increase in debt service. The income to expense ratio will decline from a pro forma 140 to a 122 income to expense ratio. And it's simply a project that probably wasn't as conservatively underwritten as it should have been the first time around. The construction costs are higher than anticipated.
Questions?
The resolution before the committee is approving modifications to mortgage insurance and the commitment for the provision thereof for the Herald Building, 320 Herald Place, Syracuse, Onondaga County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. The motion is carried.
Item 9, resolution approving an increase in 100% mortgage insurance from $4,250,000 to $4,825,000 on a CPC permanent first mortgage loan for 1259, 1265, and 1369 College Avenue, Bronx, Bronx County.
This is a project that was approved about 2.5 years ago, and once again, development costs have increased since the original approval. However, rents have gone up appreciably in the past 2.5 years. So the income to expense ratio remains essentially constant despite the increase in the loan amount.
Questions?
The resolution before the committee is approving modifications to mortgage insurance and the commitment for the provision thereof for 1259, 1265, and 1369 College Avenue, Bronx, Bronx County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 10, resolution approving 100% mortgage insurance on a $3,747,433 LISC permanent first mortgage loan for Woody Crest Veterans Housing, 984 Woody Crest Avenue, Bronx, Bronx County.
This project comprises development of 48 low-income units for senior veterans, and of the 48 units, 29 will be reserved for formerly homeless veterans. There's a project-based Section 8 HAP contract from the New York City Housing Authority. The development entity, Help USA, is an experienced developer of affordable housing, and this will be the third loan that we have insured for entities controlled by Help USA. Our total exposure is only $17 million. The insured loan amount is $78,000 per unit, which equals 23% of the project's total development cost of $345,000 per unit. The project would break even with a 10% pro forma vacancy loss or a 10% increase in operating expenses.
I'm sorry, I should know this. The tax credits are not ours, right?
They're not. They're cities.
Any other questions?
The resolution before the committee is approving mortgage insurance and commitment for the provision thereof for Woody Crest Veterans Housing, 984 Woody Crest Avenue, Bronx, Bronx County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
What do you suppose a $48,000 NYSERDA grant does? And what do you think it costs to get a
Process that grant.
$48,000
probably-
NYSERDA grant?
Probably $49,000.
Yeah, I would guess. Maybe 47. I mean, really, what is it? What do you think they do? Sorry, I don't mean to be cynical, but I just.
Those are the questions I asked Mike before the meeting, and he's marvelous. He always has the information.
Seems like a. Anyway, sorry.
I guess what do we just have left, the information item?
The mortgage recording tax last month was $19,580,000, which is the highest it's been probably in 8 years.
Really?
Yeah. We're on track through the first, if you annualize the first 7 months of the year, for the year ended March 31st, the mortgage recording surtax will be about $192 million. Last year it was 167, the prior year was 139. So we're
So those are, what, I should know this as well, but I'm just learning. What deals do we derive MRTs from?
We get it for everything except single-family within the 12-county MTA region.
12 county
MTA, they get the single-family mortgage recording tax.
MTA does.
The MTA. We
Directly.
get, yeah.
So we, and the rest of the state, we get,
Get everything in the rest of the state. And within the 12-county MTA region, we get everything but single-family.
I got it. So if the city does multifamily deals, we get the multifamily.
We do, plus we get all the office buildings and hotels. And what I think drives it, because the rest of the state is 4, 5, 6 million. And then whether it's 14 million or 19 million is solely a function of New York City. The rest of the state is always around 5, 6 million. And it seems to be driven by one big hotel, one big office building.
Just because
The big, there, this sort of big, this, a typical month is 14 million, and then every once in a while there's an 18 or 19 million dollar month.
and those are occasionally waived, but we can only the state can waive?
Don't know.
Maybe Mary
City
has some
also?
sense of it.
It's not that it's waived, it's just that a public agency like HFA or HDC can originate a mortgage.
Right.
And then that way forego the mortgage reporting tax,
Okay.
like in Stuyvesant do.
Public agency, including HDC. So if public agency originates, there is no mortgage recording tax? Did not know that.
Anything else? No further business, motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Assuming the first and second previously entered, the motion is to adjourn.
I think we're trying to get rid of you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the meeting is adjourned.